In this video we'll show you the progression of this maple bonsai over 5 years time. The first 2 years are a separate video already published here on YouTube, where we chopped off most of the trunk and started building a new apex for the tree. In this video we show the progression over the years 3, 4 and 5, where the sacrificial apex could finally be cut off, and we also repotted the tree. So techniques shown here are the use of sacrificial apexes and branches, pruning, wiring, repotting and lots more. We are really excited to share this project with you, so enjoy watching and make sure to leave a comment if you have anything you'd like to share.
Alright, it's fall right now, exactly 2 years after we made the big trunk chop. So this new apex leader is now 2 years old, and it still needs to thicken up a bit more. So this section is still a little bit thin compared to the size of the trunk. So for another year I will let this all grow out. I won't prune it, I won't defoliate any of it. So this will just be left to grow and it will thicken up this section. Once this section here is thick enough, we'll prune this off and find a new leader. So this is all sacrificial, but for now necessary to thicken this part. So what are we doing today? We're not touching this, but we are working on the structure of the tree. So it is fall, so most of these leaves are already starting to fall off, and we'll expedite that a little bit by taking all the leaves off, so that we can see the structure of the branches. And then we'll make a selection on which branches to keep and which ones we want to prune. So already now, looking at this section, there's a lot of shoots coming all from the same spot, and we'll have to make some decisions there, which ones to keep and which ones to prune. But step one is removing all the leaves. Since it's fall, the leaves are coming off quite easily, so I can just remove them like that. I don't need to scissor everything. But I do want to make sure that all the buds which have already formed here are intact. Once all these leaves are off, we'll begin with some structural pruning. That really helps us see into the tree again. And this is going to be the third styling of the tree. So there's already a structure coming into the tree. Secondary branching, some tertiary branching as well. But let's see how we can improve it today. So let's see if I can find... Yeah, so for example here, there's quite a big branch growing out here, another one there, another one here, so that's definitely a spot where we have to make a selection. I don't want anything growing upwards here. This is going to be the apex. The tree will be about this high, so for sure this branch I want to remove. Okay, so one of the things about structural pruning is that you have to make decisions about which branches to keep and which ones not. So there's a few examples that I can give you. One is here. So there's one part where 3 branches are growing from, all from the same side. So I'm just going to remove the middle one and then see if I will use the other. But for now, I'll just remove the middle one. I'll do that throughout the entire tree. And there's another thing that I'm also doing regarding the pruning, and that is for a lot of the branches that we have already wired in the previous go and pruned it. The 2 branches grow out after we made the cut. So there's a first set of buds here and another set here. So for all the branches, I'm just going to prune all these long shoots after the second buds growing. So here's the first set, second set, remove it here. And I'll do that throughout the entire tree. And once I've done that, we can discuss the structural pruning a little bit more, but this is just basic cleaning to start out with. Before we continue, we'd like to show you our Bonsai Care app. With the app you can easily add your trees and keep track of their progression. And it will send you smart reminders. Check out the app stores to download it for free. Okay, having pruned some basic maintenance pruning to the tree, we can now see much better the structure. So one thing that's nice to show is the big wound that we created 2 years ago. So it's slowly closing, not nearly completed, but it's getting much better. Then the other thing is the sacrificial apex is doing well. So the branches here we want to keep for the future design. The future apex of the tree will likely be this branch. So this will be cut off more or less right here, and this will need to thicken up in the future. So that's how we build the new apex. So right here everything seems well. One big thing that I'm thinking about is this second trunk more or less. There's a very straight section here, so I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it, but I don't want to remove it quite yet because I'm not sure if I want to use it or not. So for now I'm going to keep it. But there's quite a few branches here, also here on the back side. So this is a big branch stemming from the main trunk, and there's one growing here as well. So I need to make a decision there as well. And I think I want to keep this branch. So this one I'm going to remove. I'll do that right now. All right, and so another decision I want to make is here, 2 branches running parallel. So I like this branch a little bit better than this one. This is a bit boring, it's got a straight section, so I'm just going to remove this one entirely. Right. Okay, I think for pruning that's all I'm going to do right now. I could wire the entire tree, but really there's no point yet because the apex will need a few years to develop, so I'm not in a big hurry to finalize the design right here. So I'm gonna wire a few branches just to set them in a nice shape, but that's all for today. So after the wiring, which is just going to be 2 or 3 branches, the tree will be kept safe in winter. I'll protect it from frost, and then come next spring, I won't touch any of this, so I'll just let it continue to grow, so this section will thicken up. And then, like I said, the new or the future apex is this branch, so I'm also starting to grow this out longer and longer, so I'm not going to prune this branch anymore. And the other branches, I'll let them grow until summer, so they will grow out usually something around this size, and then I'll prune them back just roughly here, so to build the ramification. And then come next fall, I'll do exactly the same like we did today, remove the leaves and do a structural pruning again. So slowly we're working towards good looking bonsai. And since we did the trunk chop, we knew that we would need perhaps 4 to 5 years to build a new apex which is thick enough for the size of to match the size of the trunk. So that's it for today. A little bit of wiring, and then good aftercare, lots of fertilization the next growing season, and that's it. So it's early spring right now. The last time we wired it was exactly half a year ago. And the first time we styled it, I think it's about 2 to 3 years ago. So we still let this grow out because we still want to thicken this, this section of the trunk, because right now the trunk here is still too thick compared to this part. So I'll let this grow out for I think 1 more season, and then I'll prune back to here and let this be the new apex. But today is an exciting time for the tree because finally we'll put it in a bonsai pot. So I'm not quite sure yet which pot exactly, but I have a few options which I will show later. But first of all, let's take the tree out of the pot, study the roots, and see how big the root ball is, because that will decide which pot we can use. So let's take the tree out of its pot. And then I'll comb out the roots and see if I can open up the root mass a little bit. So there's a lot of roots circling around the root mass. So I don't want to be too careful at this point, because the root ball I will have to make it much more compact than it is right now. And I can see that the substrate that was used now is it seems to be a mix of some pumice and maybe akadama as well, and a lot of organic matter. In today's repotting we'll use our standard inorganic bonsai substrate, which is a mix of akadama, pumice and lava rock. So I think the tree will like that much better than this organic soil that was used right now. But the roots do look pretty good. And it's always a surprise to see what roots will appear. If there's some nice surface roots, so I'll be careful right here, because there's a nice surface root here. All right, I think that's all I will do today regarding taking the soil away from the roots. This is the first time I actually get to see all the roots of this tree, and it's quite an interesting structure. There's 2 very big pieces of roots that are pretty much circling around, so it's not ideal at all. But at this point, also because the tree is still in development, I don't want to get rid of them, because for example, if I would take away this one, I might risk losing branches on top of here. So for example, this one or this one. And the same actually for this root, which circles around, so it also feeds a specific part of the tree. So I'm not risking that today. But eventually, of course, I want to get rid of these 2 and help the tree grow a more radial spread of finer roots. So what I'll do today is actually weaken these 2 big roots by biting out a chunk of the root using a concave cutter. So I'll take this one as a first example. So I don't want to prune it off completely, also not halfway, so maybe about 1/3 I'll prune off. Maybe a little bit more, and the same for this root. So I'll carve this out a little bit more, but the whole point here is that I want to weaken this root so that on the next repotting, maybe in 2 years from now, there won't be that much roots anymore growing here, and other sections of the roots will have developed better. So I'm weakening these two big roots, and then in 2 years time, hopefully I will be able to take them off completely. Also, there's 2 other roots on this side of the tree. One here which is very straight and a little bit high. There's nicer roots underneath, so this one I'm taking off completely. And this root right here is also quite straight and a little bit long, so I'm going to reduce that in length. Like that. So I'll continue nibbling away a little bit more here. The pot that I've selected for the tree is this one. It's a cheap blue glazed pot. Perhaps a little bit on the smaller side. I would have liked to have it maybe one size bigger, but I think for now actually it's quite good for the tree. It's still big enough for the tree to develop over time, but I do want to get this tree in smaller pots over time. So I think this is a good first step to do that. So the next pot, maybe in 2 years on the next repotting, will be shallower than this one. But anyway, first let's continue with these 2 sections, and I'll prepare the pot and place it in there.
Next, we prepare the pot by covering the drainage holes with a mesh. We also attach 2 long wires, which will be used to anchor the tree to the pot firmly. We add a layer of soil before placing the tree into the pot. Place the tree slightly off-center in the pot and make sure to plant it at the right angle. Using the 2 long wires, we firmly attach the tree to the pot. The soil mixture we use is a blend of akadama, lava rock and pumice. You can read more about bonsai soil on our website, bonsaiempire.com.
All right, finished the repotting. I'm happy with it. It was a bit of a struggle to fit it into this pot. Ideally, I would have had a slightly bigger and slightly deeper pot as well, but we got it in nicely, and I think it looks good on the tree. So, what's next? I will keep the wires for now. They're still on the safe side, so not yet damaging the bark. But in a month or two, definitely I will have to take the wires off when the tree starts growing again, pushing out new leaves. These branches will grow thicker very quickly, and then the wire will need to come off as well. As I explained, this will stay on for at least one more growing season, and then it will be cut off at this point so that this apex will take over. So this season, this branch which is growing upwards, I will let it grow out unimpeded, so no more pruning here, because the next step is that I want to thicken this new future apex. So this is all sacrificial. Other than that, very happy with the tree and its development over the years. And for the next repotting, likely in 2 years, having weakened these two big roots, I hope in 2 years' time I will be able to take these off completely. But for now, pleased with the result. All right, I'm back in the garden with this Acer palmatum, or Japanese maple, and it's really coming along nicely. So as you can see, the top section really grew out a lot, so this section now finally is much thicker than it was before, so more in line with the rest of the trunk. So today is finally the day where we'll take this awful thing off right about here and start developing this as our new top of the tree, new apex. Other than that, I'll do a bit of pruning in the tree, but it doesn't need that much. I'll cut out a few of these dead branches. Let's do that right away. So. All right, so let's take this top off. It's developed quite a lot, so it will be hard. So I'm actually going to prune this into sections. All So, big part of the history of this tree, it's been removed now. This will be the new top. I'm not going to prune more away here right now, so I'll leave this for now just to die in, to make sure that this top survives. If I would have made a cut very close to here, this might die. So actually I'm not touching this now, that will be done later. This tree will respond in early spring by finding new areas of growth, because a lot of the growth was directed in this top of the tree. So for sure this top and also these branches will really start to grow strongly. So I'll leave these shoots elongate unimpeded, so I won't prune it at all, and the rest of the tree will be pruned. And what that will do is this part of the trunk will develop and gain a bit more thickness. And by pruning these sections a little bit more, I will help this tree refine and grow a more dense network of twigs. So as you could have seen over the years, we really started developing these branches with more and more ramification. This section has thickened up, so now the next part that needs to thicken up is here. So we're really nearing the completion of this big maintenance or development of the maple. Another thing we did half a year ago when we were in the garden in spring was remove a section here, because eventually on the next repotting we might want to remove this thick root. So this is coming along nicely, same here. But no repotting today, of course. We'll wait for at least a year with any repotting. Next step is to do a bit of pruning, perhaps add a bit of wire, but I don't think we need much. And really this part just needs to develop. So what the tree needs is a little more time. But it's coming along nicely.
Deciding on the design of a bonsai isn't always easy, especially when a tree is as full and overgrown as this plant. Try to apply the pruning guidelines we just mentioned to your own trees. And if you are interested to learn more about these techniques, consider enrolling in one of our online bonsai courses. Here, expert teachers explain the relevant techniques, and you can ask them questions. For a free lesson, go to bonsaiempire.com/courses.
Alright, so we wired a few of these branches in position again, but not all the branches. I think for now this is fine. Alright, so we made a really big cut here, taking off the apex, so I'll add a bit of cut paste on it. Easy. And then the next steps for the tree, like I said, the main thing for developing the tree will be to start pushing these new shoots out so that this part thickens up. So we went from a very thick trunk to this part where we used the sacrificial apex, and now the next leader will be this one, which will also grow out a long way and then be cut off around here. So right now you're looking more or less at the final shape of the tree. We just need to thicken this up, and by doing that we need to let all these branches grow out. So it's late November now, we're going into winter. So I'll keep the tree outdoors, start fertilization again in spring. But you know, it's really about refining the tree. So this section is really all about generating ramification, and only this section is about growth and thickening up. The branch here, which is sort of awkward, I do want to remove eventually, but for now I just keep it. So we'll see you again in about a year from now.
Learn how to create your own bonsai trees by enrolling in one of our online bonsai courses. We explain techniques like pruning, wiring and repotting, and you can ask questions to the teachers. For the curriculums and free lessons, go to bonsaiempire.com/courses.